Is it wrong to kidnap minors or underage girls? Is it? Well, how about this then? Is it wrong to kidnap high schoolers to teach them about real estate and to have them get their real estate license so they can go work for you? Today's topic is about literally what I just said. A 37-year-old real estate agent named Hiroaki Sakuai from Saitama was arrested on November 27th of 2019. Sorry if I butchered the name. I'm not very good with the pronunciations. He was charged with the kidnapping of underage girls, which right off the bat is holy shit, this guy's a fucking weirdo and a creep and should be castrated and thrown into the bottomless pits of hell.
But
But turns out, weirdly enough, there's more to the story than just that. So before he got arrested, quite some time before he got arrested, he was on the internet, and there were some high schoolers, I believe, who were pretty much posting on the internet talking about them wanting to run away from home, how they didn't want to be home anymore. So what does Hiroaki do? Well, he DMs them personally and tells them, "Hey, you could come live with me, but you guys need to study in return." Here it stated that he contacted two girls in August and September after they tweeted out about running away from home. "Come to Saitama if you study, I'll take care of you," and he reports. And here's the message: "Come to Saitama if you study, I'll take care of you." They're invited to live in Hirakaki's apartment rent free. But the girls accepted the term, which to me is already really alarming, because we already understand that anyone who's like young is very more prone to just accepting crazy ass terms. This is one of the things here in America where they teach you when you're growing up: don't talk to strangers. If the stranger starts talking to you, just try to back away from the conversation and just go over to whoever your guardian or parent are. But here they pretty much just accepted the terms right off the bat and said, yeah, we'll do that. So they go over to where Hiraki lives and pretty much just live with him. It turns out that he had a whole apartment for them so they could live at and do whatever they needed to do. And here's the thing: they were actually studying. Hiraki would pretty much just teach them, give them lessons about real estate in order for them to work towards their realtor license. And it turns out they were fed 3 times a day and they were allowed to leave whenever they wanted. It also stated, in fact, that they were actually able to contact their parents whenever they wanted to. So they weren't held there against their will. It simply seemed like Hiraki actually just offered them a place to stay as long as they were to accept the terms and conditions of what they needed to do in order to stay, which was just to study. As it stated here, he encouraged the girls to study the real estate business in addition to their school studies. Hiraki also helped them to prepare for the real estate license exam by running regular quizzes. Both teens were fed 3 meals a day and had no restrictions on bathing or phone usage. They can contact their parents if they want and leave anytime. Hiraki provided individual rooms and had Wi-Fi installed. He lived at a separate home. So what was the reason behind this? What was Hiraki's whole plan for this? What was the end goal? Well, it turns out Hiraki told investigators that he was planning to educate the girls so that they could work for his company in the future. Hiraki admitted to all the allegations police said. So his overall goal was just to get employees to work for his company or to work for him, which isn't as crazy as it sounds. I mean, here in America, we have companies that are willing to pay people who just graduated college. They're willing to pay for their masters, or they're willing to pay them for a certain type of certification as long as they go work for that individual or company for a certain amount of time. This is very common. A lot of companies and individuals are willing to do this. It's simply just an investment onto an individual as long as that individual is able to pretty much pay back with their time and skills later down the line. And it seems like Hiraki was trying to do the same exact thing. He saw some individuals that he probably had the potential to teach them something, and then he would pretty much teach them, and then later down the line, they would come work for him. I believe that's what Hiraki saw. He simply saw an investment opportunity. But how did they uncover this whole thing? I mean, it probably wasn't that hard. After all, the girls had no restrictions on whether or not they could leave. They also had no restrictions on their phone, so they could essentially just call anyone at any time and let them know where they were at. Well, as it turns out, they found them quite simple. In September, the girl's father reported to Aurora police that the rented property in Hanojo was discovered by analyzing their tweets on Twitter. Police found both of minors at the apartment, healthy and unharmed. The girls were studying when Hiraki got arrested, police said. Now here's the thing. Technically, it is kidnapping, I suppose. I'm not too well versed when it comes to Japanese law, so I don't really know what is considered kidnapping there in the country. The thing here is that they were minors. That is the problem here. They were underage and they did not have the parents' consent in order to go live at some other strange place and be taught real estate law or some shit. But at the same time, I kind of doubt that Hiraki is going to get a very heavy punishment or heavy sentence, because the girls were unharmed. They had the ability to leave anytime. They weren't pressured or forced into this. They were simply offered an opportunity to learn. Thus, in return, they would get a place to live rent free. If anything, this really brings up a more better question. Why did these girls want to run away in the first place? Sure, a lot of teenagers are very just psychotic sometimes and just really want to run away or just go somewhere else and discover themselves and whatnot. But I really do think that needs to bring up a question. Why were these girls running away in the first place? Maybe their living conditions back at home wasn't very good or suitable for their needs, or it was just unhealthy and they just wanted to leave. But I'm not going to go throwing out accusations of child abuse or whatnot. I just think this whole situation is funny. I mean, this is literally possibly like a fucking start or name to a fucking anime. Like, you know those animes that have those long ass titles? That one time I was reincarnated as a fucking vending machine? Or that one controversial one that's showing up recently though. That time my wife reincarnated as an elementary school girl. And in this situation, it could just be simply as stated as, is it wrong to kidnap high schoolers and to teach them real estate so they can come work for me in the future? Like, it's boom, there it is. This is straight up an anime plot right there. Good 1 or 2 seasons and boom, money. Any studio want to pick that up? Yeah, that's fucking amazing. I think this is fucking hilarious. What makes this even funnier is that apparently this is not the first time this guy did this. He's done it before. Now, I don't know. I couldn't really find a situation or a case about it. I just saw an article that he pretty much was in the same kind of hot water quite some time ago. But regardless, I don't like, what he did was wrong, but his intentions were not wrong, or they weren't bad. He didn't do anything to these girls. He just wanted to have employees, and that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to train them to become employees. It's not like he just started having them work for him for free. No, he was actually teaching them about this topic or the skills that was required in order to do this real estate business type shit. And Lord behold, they were doing pretty well apparently. But yeah, I thought it was a funny kind of situation I wanted to talk about. I thought this was hilarious. More eyes should be on to it just because of how ludicrous and just weird it was. Like, you know, it's not that very often you hear somebody kidnapping other people to teach them about a certain type of business so they could again work for them. I mean, you probably hear that before, but like, this case was a lot more wholesome, maybe? I don't really know. But yeah, that's about it. See ya.